Well, I'm on my way to Enniskillen and I thought I'd make a little video. I'm not going to go live, although I may do a little live transmission shortly. I don't know. I'll just see how this video goes. This is a particular little road that I really wanted to show you because it's a little road that cuts away from Black Lion and Bealtaine and goes past Florence Court. And Florence Court is a beautiful old estate and belonged to the Anglo-Irish ascendancy. Still does. It's actually a beautiful place to go. The gardens are fantastic. But I just wanted to show you the scenery. So I've got the camera pointed over towards the right, so my right side, because on that right side, of course, there's incredible mountains, and there's a sort of like a cliff escarpment as well further up. So anyway, just I hope you enjoy this little video. We are about 30 miles, away from Bealtaine Cottage. You can probably find this road on Google Maps. It's well worth having a look on Google Maps at this because it's so beautiful. So the road is fairly straight. A little bit bumpy, so do excuse any jumping about on the video. And I'm hoping that we'll capture the scenery. I'm hoping that the camera is pointed, well, the camera and the phone is pointed in the right direction here. So you might just see in the distance now, over here, there's no point in me pointing because you can't see my finger, but you begin to see part of the cliff escarpment. Now Florence Court is a vast estate, some beautiful woodlands here at Florence Court, you're beginning to see them now, and within the location there's some very interesting caves, and the caves have got, like, I think there's a lake down there within the cave network, and so when one visits the caves one actually goes in on a boat, and the boat will take you all the way around the caves. Now, I have yet to go on this experience. Perhaps I'll get around to doing it in the not too distant future. Over to the left, which is where you can't see at the moment, is the loch, which is just outside of Bealtaine, where I've stopped several times and pointed the camera across the lake so you can see this beautiful scenery. I think this is the 7th of September. We're enjoying a fantastic autumn here in the west of Ireland. It's absolutely spectacular. You see, I don't think it's caught the escarpment. Oh well. it looks as though we're going to go into quite a classic autumn, in that there'll be this beautifully slow colouring of the leaves. So it bodes well for a spectacular flourish of colour across the country. Because more often than not, the west of Ireland can be quite wet, so you don't get that same colouring of leaves, that intensity. I think for that intensity to take place, you've got to have a fairly kind of a sharp drop in the sap. And this is just me speculating here. The way it goes in the west of Ireland is because the ground is so wet and there's so much rain, you don't have that sharp drop in the sap. But here we go anyway, there's some lovely colours beginning to emerge. So we're just going to cross the little bridge now, the bridge over the Claddagh River. That's C-L-A-D-A-G-H, the Claddagh River. And up to the right there was the Claddagh Glen, which apparently is a lovely little drive. I really do need to get out more because normally when I'm going somewhere, I'm going from A to B. Rather than going on a little jaunt. But what I'm going to try to do, certainly for this late autumn and winter and early spring, is to kind of use Sunday as a little jaunting day, go out on a jaunt somewhere and not to have any particular agenda other than to explore a particular area. And that way then I might just, get my derriere around some of these places that I'm always looking at and passing by and never really getting out to. I think this is going to be part of the ongoing transformation of myself, which started back on the 19th of March of this year, when I started my 100-day juice fast. And that transformation has trundled on. It's at a slower pace now, but it's still happening. I made a cup of coffee yesterday morning, my usual coffee, and I took a couple of sips and I just thought to myself, this is too sweet, this is too strong, this is too creamy, I don't like it. And I actually threw it away. So this morning I've happily got up and made myself a nice pot of tea and enjoyed 2 cups of tea. And I feel more sort of on a nice even keel, because I'd got to the point where I really could not have coffee without it being made either 100% with plant milk and then 2 sugars, the cappuccino type thing, and maybe 4 shots of coffee in it. So it was though my kind of taste buds were becoming less and less acclimatized to what a cup of coffee was, and they were becoming quite exaggerated, that I needed to have more coffee or more sugar or more coffee creamer or whatever it was I was putting in, all kinds of vegan creams and stuff. But anyway, I diversify, which I don't particularly want to keep doing. I was watching back the video that I made last night of of myself making my dinner in the kitchen. And I must say, I actually laughed several times because I thought, this is like something from a comedy sketch, you know. Yes, I'm just going to add some red onion now. Oh, she shuffles about in the back room. No, there's no red onion. It's like, as I remember when I passed my 11 plus and I got into grammar school in Oma, and like I was not just a working class girl, I was a very impoverished, poor working class girl from the end of town that not even the dogs wanted to live. So when I got into the grammar school, I was made aware of my lowly status very early on by the nuns who used to thrive on the exaltation of the lowly status, but not in a good way. And so I had all these wonderfully academic classes which I loved. I loved the academia and I loved learning. But anyway, we had to choose between science and domestic science. Now, I didn't have a clue what science was, and it sounded incredibly beyond my understanding. So I opted for domestic science. Well, it was the only class, it was the only module that I actually failed, and I failed badly. And I remember my domestic science teacher at one point ordering me out of the class, calling me a disgrace, etc., etc. So I was just reminded of what she used to say there, you know, last night after making that video. Preparation is everything. Well, I'm still unprepared when I go into the kitchen, and that's why people say to me, can I have the recipe please? Can you post the recipe? And I'm thinking to myself, what are they on about? Because I never follow a recipe. Maybe a recipe in my head, but the way that I cook and bake is, well, what have I got? What have I got in the fridge? What have I got in the pantry? What have I got in the garden? What have I got in the kind of, storage jars? Okay, let me see if I can make something out of this. And therein begins a really bizarre cookery class. So when I say, you don't really want me in the kitchen pottering about, talking nonsense and creating wild dishes that I then have to try to transcribe and make sense of because people want the recipes. I am going to keep railing against this. Of course you know that, don't you? And the more people ask me for a cookery book, the less inclined I'm going to be. Now we've got to the end of this road, so I'm going to turn off. You see there's a car behind me, so I can't stop just yet. So I'll just potter on here for a wee while. I'll just pull in here and then bid you all farewell and blessings to everyone. So, there we go. Blessings to all.